Today's video, Cop27 or Cop Out. Rishi Sunak didn't want to go, he told the king not to go, now it's all U-turn and Sunak will probably turn up. What was he thinking when he made the initial decision? Is the UK really interested, or is it just part-time ambition? But then again, is the world actually interested? And what's the reality behind it all? It's not even 2 weeks out of the country for Sunak. He'll only be there for 2 or 3 days perhaps. But is all this flying there and back the right thing to be doing at a climate conference? Clearly, he didn't want any interruptions to his continued drive towards austerity and recession in the UK. This all started with the Earth Summit way back in 1992 in Rio. Do you remember that? Maybe you're old enough, maybe you're not. But that's where it started. Stabilising greenhouse gas emissions was what it was all about, and we're still talking about stabilising greenhouse gas emissions. So far, around 190 countries have signed up to this, so surely we could achieve anything. There are only about 195 countries on the planet after all. So this treaty has been extended and extended and extended, and signed up to and signed up to and signed up to, and here we are at Cop27. What in God's name have we been doing all this time? At Cop26, the same was still being talked about. Keep that warming down to 1.5 degrees. Scientists currently estimate that the warming stands around 1.15 degrees. So all these countries agreed to deliver stronger plans to achieve more. But that's actually just to deliver a plan. Here we are at Cop27. So how many of those countries have actually put their plan forwards? 24 out of about 190, meaning 170 have gone missing. Cop27 is being held in Egypt, and they plan to ask for action, not just talk. No, hang on. This is actually going to be more about implementing the Paris Rulebook. Paris Rulebook? What's that? Well, that came from the Paris Agreement 5 years previous to Cop26. And at Cop26, they said they would deliver a much stronger commitment to Cop27. I hope you're keeping up with all these agreements, plans, meetings, COPs. You need to be a scientist just to understand who's signed up to what, who's going to do what, when and how. Don't worry if you can't keep up with all of this. It's actually leading to something called a Global Stocktake. And that's happening at Cop28. Yes, there are already plans for next year's dinners, lunches, evening engagements, and as much alcohol as they can drink. Christ. I hope it doesn't come across that I'm too sceptical. Let's take a look at Cop27 instead. Countries are expected to show how they're planning to implement the Glasgow Pact. The Glasgow Pact? It's another one. That was the end result of Cop26. That's where they agreed to give some figures and a whole bunch of information about how they're going to implement things. Now what that means is getting more ambitious about their 2030 targets. But that's fine because that's 7 or 8 years away, isn't it? Something that countries agreed to at Cop26, the Glasgow Pact, which is actually part of the Paris Agreement, come on, keep up, was to equip countries with knowledge and tools to ensure that any adaptation actions taken are going in the right direction. Well, hooray for that. Who'd want to go in the wrong direction? Now, I'm going to mention Copenhagen. And this one's really important, and it comes from 2009. It was agreed back then in 2009 that the developed countries, or the richer countries if you prefer, would commit to providing $100 billion every year. And every year since, they've missed it. But now at Cop27, the so-called experts are about to make this a reality in 2023. So let's talk loss and damage then. What's that? Well, the developing nations believe that the already developed nations should be stumping up some cash. After all, they've caused all the problems. They say that they have suffered at the developed world's hands, and someone needs to pay for it. Some countries are more concerned than others. Denmark has already paid $13 million. Is there a loss adjuster job going somewhere? So we can't talk about this without considering the Russia-Ukraine war that's been going on since February 2022, and here we are in November 2022. There have been huge amounts of money pumped into the Ukraine to support the military and the civilians. Inflation is running wild all over the world. Energy problems, food inflation, food supplies. So this all means that many countries will be decreasing their commitment to many areas, one of them being climate change. The pledges to keep global warming to no more than 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial figures has all but disappeared. Experts, if they are experts, say that commitments so far have led to little behavioural change and action. The 1.5 figure seems to be sailing by, and many experts actually say that we should start concentrating on the 5-degree figure. And if you think you've got problems with the 1.5 degree number, well, wait till you get to 5. So, where does this leave us? Up shit creek with no paddle? Because let's face it, somebody chopped down the forest and burnt it all for energy. And after all, the canoe was made of plastic. Well, the plan is to stop deforestation by 2030, which is going to be an easy target because by then they may well have cut all the forest down. Does anybody not think that deforestation will increase the closer we get to 2030? Let's hope that Cop27 actually delivers something real. And let's hope people actually commit to something real. And let's hope that action is actually taken on the ground and something real actually happens.
Well, what are we going to do? You're going to stop having heat? You're going to stop having electricity? You're going to stop driving your cars? You're going to stop taking trains? It's like you're not. You're going to stop using your iPhones? You're not going to do any of that.